to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hun.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. It was pitch black. Not the safe kind of black where your eyes can sort of adjust, but total black. The kind only the deepest earth can hold. You're underground in a copper mine somewhere in Michigan's Kinawa Peninsula in the late 1800s. Calumet, Quincy, Cliff, Nonesuch, all towns with copper mines. The copper veins, snaking deeper than most men dared wander, your only light is a flickering oil lamp. Your only companions, the echoes of your own breath, and the knocks. Tap, tap, tap. Coming from a place you know is solid rock. The sound isn't metal against stone. It's something else. Something ancient. Something unseen. On today's episode of F-Bomb Friday, we're talking about the knockers of the copper mines. In the mid-1800s, Michigan's Upper Peninsula became a global magnet for miners. Word had spread of the vast native copper waiting under the ancient rock, rich, pure, and deadly if you weren't careful. Mines like Cliff, one of the earliest and most productive in the region, drew men from everywhere. Among them were the Cornish, tough, superstitious, experienced miners from Cornwall, England. Locals called them Cousin Jacks because when asked if they had relatives back home who might come to work, they'd say,
"Well, me cousin Jack'd come if he pay his way."
Cornwall's mines weren't just tough, they were haunted with centuries of lore. When these miners arrived in Michigan, they didn't just bring shovels and picks. They brought stories, old beliefs, and the legends of the knockers. Tommy knockers, or simply knockers, are mythical gnome-like spirits believed to live deep within the mine shafts. According to lore, they are described as 2 foot tall, elderly, white-whiskered men with disproportionately large heads and long arms who dress in traditional miners' garb. Also described sometimes as being ghoulish, green-skinned goblins with glowing eyes. They're famously categorized into light, helpful, and dark, malicious behaviors, acting both as guardians and tormentors of the underground. The light knockers are helpful spirits. The name knocker originates from the knocking sounds heard on mine walls, which were believed to be warnings from the creatures about imminent cave-ins or structural failures. They were sometimes believed to be the ghost of deceased miners who helped guide workers to rich veins of ore. Miners often left offerings of food, commonly the crust of their Cornish pasties, to appease the creatures and ensure their continued protection. The Dark Knockers are malicious tricksters. Some legends hold that the knocking sounds were not warnings, but the creatures actively hammering at supports to cause cave-ins. They were known to steal tools, hide equipment, and extinguish candles or lamps, leaving miners in the darkness. If disrespected or neglected, they could become vengeful, trapping miners or luring them into dangerous, uncharted areas of the mine. So let's talk about the appeasement of food tradition. In Michigan's copper country, the Cornish miners didn't just talk about the knockers, they fed them. Enter the Cornish pasty, that hearty pocket of meat, potatoes, and rutabaga that became the lunch of choice in Yooper mines. Miners would break off the crimped crust, the part they held with their soiled and contaminated hands that no one wanted anyway, and leave it behind in the mine, sometimes calling out a shout of
Augie, 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 oi, oi, oi,
before tossing it into the darkness. Why? Because hunger was no joke for the Tommy knockers. A full belly meant goodwill. They believed if you kept them well fed, they'd keep you alive. Now, let's get real for a minute. Mining is fucking terrifying. It's dark, cold, unpredictable. You spent all day surrounded by moving earth that can crush you without a second's notice. The sounds of a mine creaks, cracks, groans, drips, and distant clanks echo everywhere. Before modern safety technology, miners had no way to scientifically predict cave-ins. But they heard the sounds, so they gave them meaning. The knockers became a way to conceptualize danger, reward, and the unknown. Whether it was a warning echo from stress fractures in the rock or just imagination, miners listened. They had to. As decades passed and technology advanced, belief in the knockers faded, but it didn't die. Even into the 20th century, miners, especially descendants of the cousin Jacks, continue to speak of them with reverence and sometimes fear. In 1956, when a large mine in the American West closed and the bosses planned to seal it forever, generations of miners petitioned to let the knockers out before the doors shut. They feared trapping them would bring misfortune. Everywhere in the United States, towns embraced the legend, like Idaho Springs, Colorado, where a brewery named Tommy Knocker Brewery stands as a tribute to mining folklore. And back here in Michigan, the pasty tradition lives on. The history of the copper country is inseparable from the stories miners told. Stories of risk, survival, lore, and knocks in the dark. So, what were the knockers? Spirits? Hallucinations? The echoes of unforgiving earth? Maybe all of the above. Maybe they were fears miners gave shape to, so they could make sense of noise in the abyss. Maybe they were the hopes that whispered through the tunnels, telling men that rich copper waited just one more shift down. Or maybe, just maybe, when you hear that tap, tap, tap in the dark, it's not the rock settling, it's them. Thanks for digging into the shadows beneath Michigan's copper veins with us to find the voices that once kept miners alive or drove them mad. If you hear a knock tonight as you're falling asleep, don't just brush it off. Listen, that knock may be saying something. Maybe it wants pasty crusts, or maybe it wants you to listen to the story, not the fear. Stay curious and stay spooky. Well, hun, I'm going to be honest. I heard of the Tommyknockers, but I think that was a Stephen King movie?
Yeah, it was a Stephen King book that was later turned into a movie, and it is a very loose adaptation of the legend. Now, in Stephen King's version, the Tommyknockers were aliens, and they weren't short at all. They were actually quite tall. Really, the only similarities to the legend is the knocking sound being made. And in the movie, the aliens were rarely even seen. They just kind of took over humans and used mind control on them. It doesn't really correlate so much.
It's my only basis. Like, literally, that's all I've never read the book. And I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing the movies, but it's been a few years since I've seen it. Now, when I started digging into this legend of the Knockers, also called the Tommyknockers, I immediately envisioned these labyrinth-like creatures from the movie The Labyrinth, the way they were described. And it really does depend if you are looking at them from the lighter aspect or the darker aspect. Are they friend or foe, or are they both? Do they change depending on how they are treated?
Good question. Did you feed them?
Or
not?
Did you feed them some pasties? And that's cool. That's a cool tie-in that's a Michigan tradition, is the pasties, especially up north in Uber country. And I thought that was really cool. And I was like, huh. I bet a lot of people, first of all, a lot of people don't know about the Knockers legend, and that it has that pasty tie-in. It's very cool. And I just want to mention, on February 23rd is National Pasty Day. So coming up in just a few weeks is National Pasty Day. So remember the Knockers when you're eating your pasties.
And throw away your crust on the ground so somebody can scoop them up and eat them.
Right, so that makes sense. So these miners, this was their favorite food. And the crust, because their hands are filthy. They're digging in the earth and they're covered with copper. They don't want to eat the part that their hands are touching, so they discard the crust, extra food. They give it to the Knockers as some appeasement. You look out for us, we look out for you.
Yeah, and they're already ingesting way too much ore.
Right. And that brings up another point. So our friend Ben Goldman, and he didn't know I was working on this story at the time, he sent me an article about these elusive mushrooms that are in China. Apparently, these mushrooms, they're for consumption. You can eat them, but if you don't cook them thoroughly, they have hallucinogenic properties. Well, all these people that were eating these mushrooms would have these hallucinations of little people or elves, and they all had the same hallucination. So he sent me this article and he said, does this possibly have any tie-ins, do you think, with the shit elves? Now, the shit elves, we've done stories on F-Bomb before, and also the Memegwesi, the little people, which there are lots of little people folklore in Michigan, and we'll get to more of those as well, but it started to make sense, and it got me thinking, with hallucinations, are people thinking that these creatures are actually real because they've seen them? So I started digging, and it turns out with copper toxicity in the human body, it can cause hallucinations. So you can ingest the copper through your skin, through breathing it, through tasting it, and it can cause hallucinations, if you have too much copper toxicity in your body. So it's very plausible that these miners suffering from copper toxicity in the body could have seen these creatures thinking that they were real. So it makes sense. And thanks, Ben, for sending that article, because it got me digging in another hole.
Yeah, I did read that because Ben sent it over in, I think, the group chat or something like that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And I can only imagine, just like with, if you're going to do drugs, either you see good, happy things because of your mindset,
Right.
or you see bad, scary things because of your mindset.
Right.
And I could not even imagine hallucinating being deep down in the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's scary enough to be down there by oil light.
Right.
And then to see little scary looking Tommyknockers running around.
Right.
Hell no.
Thinking about it, you're just going about your day doing your average everyday work. You just finished lunch, and about a half hour later, not only are you hearing this strange knocking sounds all over the place, but guess what? Now you're actually seeing these creatures too.
Maybe that's why they threw the crust. Dude, you got more of that on your fingers. Don't eat the crust because you've been touching it.
Right.
It's all making sense.
Yes.
Well, this is a fun story.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you, hon.
You're welcome, baby.
Now, you want to sign us out?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you just might want to check under your bed.
And guess what?
What?
If I see any of these Tommyknockers under there, I'm going to have a whole basket of pasties.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm kind of hungry right now. I want some pasties.
I do too. We need some good ones, though.
Yeah.
We had some, our downtown festival that they have here. Someone brought them, but I wasn't very thrilled with them.
Well, you know what?
They weren't very seasoned.
You know what? You being the fabulous cook, guess what else I found? While doing the research on this, I also found an authentic recipe for pasties.
Well, that's it.
Yep.
I'll make pasties.
There we go.
I have plenty to feed the Tommyknockers.
That's right.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. And we will see you again on Malice Monday.
Oi, oi, oi! See you on Monday.